Hello and welcome to another Design in any CAD system video. Now, today we're going to talk about one of the most versatile and interesting features in Parametric CAD, and that is the sweep function. Okay, now the sweep function, what it does is um, it takes a profile and creates a solid not by sweeping it along a straight line like the extrude command does, but sweeping it along any path you choose, right? So today we won't have a drawing because the shape is going to be pretty simple, but the outcome is going to be very, very interesting. Okay, so without further ado, let's hop into our CAD system. Now, as always, I'm going to be explaining things in Alibre and then taking the same workflow into the other CAD systems. The only difference here is that we're going to have a 3D path. So the path is not going to be constrained to a single plane, right? So if the CAD system has 3D sketch capabilities, we are going to take advantage of it. If it doesn't, we'll build it up as we go. So Alibre does have 3D sketch capabilities, but funnily enough, it doesn't work very well if the first thing you do is a 3D sketch. So I'm just creating this line here as a helper line, right? It's just telling me that my uh, profile is open. Yes, I know that. So let's go to the 3D sketch now. Okay. So this is our origin, right? So I'm just going to take a line and I'm going to grab that origin, and you see that little symbol that came up, that is telling me that the direction has been locked. Okay, now let's start making this this path, and this path is going to consist of four 50mm lines that are then going to be filleted in sketch with 10mm fillets. So let's do that now. Here is the 10mm fillet. Okay, now in Alibre, because it doesn't have any other on-screen notification on which plane you're drawing on, it is always recommended to have the grid on, right? And as you cycle the sketch planes, the grid will relocate, and it will tell you which direction you are sketching. Now, I'm sketching in the YZ plane currently, but if I start from this point, you see that little yellow line that popped up? It's telling me that I am now sketching at an elevation away from the YZ plane, and I also got that little mark telling me I'm sketching at a constrained direction, which is precisely what I want. That should be good enough. And I'll just say that this is, well, actually, I can just say that everything is D2, right? I don't need to keep repeating these dimensions. Um, let's also fill it this. This is going to be D4. And the reason I'm not giving values and I'm just reusing the parameters, right, is that now if I change this fillet, every fillet will change. If I change this line, every line will change. So I'm getting a more robust but also flexible path. Okay, so now I'm going to start from here. Yeah, that's the direction I want. Okay, 50 and fillet. This with this, and this is going to be D4. Right, so I'm not, if I have the same, if my design intent is for the line to be the same length and the fillets to be the same radius, it helps if I define it that way. Okay, and as I'm saying that, I didn't. Okay, so there we are. So let's deactivate it. Now this is going to be our path, right? So that's the path of the sweep. Let us now design on the YZ plane. I do not need the grid anymore, and I kind of don't like it either in 2D sketches. So we will use a 10mm pipe, sorry, a 20mm pipe, and it's going to have a 2.5mm thickness. Now there are two ways to do it in Alibre and in Fusion and FreeCAD, I think. Onshape cannot do that particular method, which is create a thin sweep feature. So have a single circle here and treat it as the walls of your pipe, and then just define the thickness. But in order to be uniform across the board, I am just going to say that this is d9 divided by 2 minus 2.5. That's not correct. That's correct. So I just wanted to have a 2.5mm thickness. I originally thought I made a radius. That's why the formula, but I saw that I got a diameter. Probably I didn't hold shift when I should have. But you see, I am referencing D9, right, which is 20mm. And if I take 5mm, if I subtract 5mm, I'll get 15, which is going to be the equivalent. You see that? It says 15. It's the equivalent of 2.5mm wall thickness. So we're done sketching. That's it, guys. It's relatively easy. That's why I say that it's a very versatile command, because with very few things you can achieve a lot. Okay. So yes, I seem to have messed up my values. So if I try and do that, this fillet is too small, and the profile is going to, as it turns around, it's going to return into itself. That's not allowed. So I have two options here. I can either increase this fillet or decrease this pipe diameter. Let's just say that I'm going to no, it'll look better if I decrease the pipe diameter. And if I say now 10, I still get the 2.5mm thickness because of the way I set up my equations. So now I'm going to start my sweep. This is my profile and this is my path. Okay, this is my pipe. I mean, it's a pretty simple thing, right? It's a pretty simple thing, but you can see that in a single command, you can create something that is quite a bit elaborate, right? And with that being said, let us now move on to Fusion and do the same thing. So let's start sketching on the XY plane. You just click this to enable 3D sketching in Fusion. If you have an open command, you need to close it and then click 3D sketch, or else that command is going to be in 2D. But anyway, so we start now. We have this line. We need it to be 50. Okay. And we will continue sketching. Yep. 50 millimeters this way, and then You see, I have to say, 3D sketching in Fusion is quite good because the way it works is you're cutting around your coordinate origin, if that makes sense. So yeah, to me at least, that's a bit more intuitive and more easy to follow, right? Okay, so this is it now. Let's fix that. No, let's not fix that. I want to fillet it. Okay, so let's fillet that 10 millimeters, and we go straight up. We open the fillet command again, 10 millimeters. We go straight up, 10 millimeters. There we go. And this is the path we want to achieve, and we have achieved it in Fusion as well. So now we're going to create our profile here, and we're going to, oh yeah, now we uncheck 3D sketch. We don't want to be 3D sketching anymore. So this will be 10 millimeters. So this is D8, right? You leave the cursor on it and it tells you D8. I'll make another circle. I'm just going to say that this is D8 minus 5. And that's it. And I can finish my sketch. And now I can do my sweep. So, profile, that's the profile. Path, this is the path. Okay, there you go. The exact same thing in Fusion, right? Really, really versatile command. We use 3D Sketch in both occasions, and we get the same result in both occasions in very, very different CAD systems. So there you are on that. And now let's head over to onshape, right? So we will start the sketch here on the top plane. I always want to show constraints. Now the top plane is the equivalent of the XY plane in the other two, right? 50. And onshape does not have 3D sketching to my knowledge, right? So we will have to create a plane to design here, but that is fairly easy. Let me just sketch fillet these two lines first. All right. Okay, that is going to be 10 millimeters. Thank you. Let's bring this on the outside. Okay. So in order to do that little loop we want to do, we need to create a plane here. That's very easy. You go to the plane command, you select this line, and then it says line and angle. So if you, it then needs a second plane, and it'll measure the angle out of that second plane. So I'm just going to select the right plane. I want 0 degrees of angle. That's fine. So there you go. I have my new plane, which I will start a new sketch. I'm pretty interested to see if it will be able to fillet between them. That's going to be an interesting one. It's not. It's not filleting between them. Excellent. Well, now let me finish this sketch first. You know, in Parametric CAD, there is always a way to get to the result you want. Okay, even if a particular CAD system does not have a particular tool, I can pretty much guarantee that there is another way to do it. So what I'm going to do here, right, is I'm going to make another line here to here, right? I'm going to fillet this. Oh, yeah, select both of them. Cool. And then I'm going to go back into Sketch 5. I'm just going to turn this into a construction line, which I don't remember how to do. I guess if I right click, yeah, right click construction. So I haven't lost any of my references. It still works, and I got the path up that I wanted. Not too bad, actually. Not, you know, um, I wouldn't say that it's better or worse, just different, right? Okay, so let's make these two. Um, yeah, now onshape is a bit particular about variables, and I'm going to try and use them, right? Okay, so this one, so I want to open my variables table, right? And I want to create a new variable. Is it? Do I just do that? Yeah, new variable. Right, right, right. So you do that hashtag thing in front, and you get this menu. And now the value is going to be 10, but the name is going to be error D. All right. Okay. I don't think we need the millimeters one. So yeah, you see now this works. Oh, you see now this works. It knows it's 10 millimeters, and when I go to dimension this, I can just say, yeah, I start writing the name, I get this tooltip, I click on it, and I just say subtract 5. Yeah, it probably means, yeah, subtract 5 millimeters. Um, when I said just 5, it gave me an error and says I cannot subtract a lengthened unitless number. Right? It's protecting me from my own ignorance. So yeah, millimeters. And I got it. And I have, if I go, make this smaller. Yep. So if I go and make this now 20, the other value becomes 15. Okay, so I've got the exact same parametric operation. I don't need to see that anymore. I'm good with Sketch 7, and I want to sweep. Yep, solid. I want to add a new solid. This is my profile. This is my, let me select that. This is my sweep up. Okay, so I need to go along and select everything. I wonder, no, it doesn't have a chain select option. Okay, well, I mean, not too bad. So you see now, Onshape had the same capabilities, right? Let's hit P and hide our planes. Onshape had the same capabilities. It produced the exact same shape, right? And the workflow was the same, the method was the same. It just took a slightly different approach, right? But so now let's go into FreeCAD. Okay, so I've started a new file, I've started a body, and I'm going to start sketching. Okay, I want to start sketching in the XY plane. Right, so I'll start with a line. Okay, and then I'll make another line. I'll make another line here. And then I'm going to, yeah, see that this is 50 millimeters. This is also 50 millimeters. Now I need to fillet that in Sketch. Okay, so I want a constraint preserving sketch fillet, right? So it'll add a third point here and preserve these constraints. So I'm just going to say that I want to flip these two. Okay, you see that this point exists, the constraints have been conserved. I just now need to tell it that this is 10 millimeters. Okay, And I think we're good to go. I don't think FreeCAD has 3D sketch capabilities. Well, actually, no, it does. um, FreeCAD is the amalgamation of many different design systems. So in this series, we're dealing mainly with parametric mechanical CAD, right? But it also has BIM, for example, right? It has direct editing, which is this part. Workbench, the BIM workbench is the arch workbench, and it also has this draft workbench. And this draft workbench has got some amazing uh, sketching capabilities, right? Non-planar sketching, what other CAD systems call 3D sketching, and all sorts of stuff. We're not going to use it now because we want to keep everything uh, within the parametric design methodology, all right? So now I want to create a plane here, which is really right, normal to that edge, and I want the Z direction is always coming outside of the plane. So I want the Z direction. Let's not use the formula editor yet. Let's just say that yeah, we'll see the formula editor in another video. But okay, so I just need to go the other way. So minus, that's good to go. And now I can sketch here. Right, let's see if this works the same way. So let me get this. And now I've created, this is external geometry. It's not used to create anything, right? It's just referencing this. Okay, is it? I think it's, yeah. Okay, so then we do this here to here. Okay. Oh, okay. Let me make these 2 points coincident. Okay. Now let's do that constraint preserving fillet again and tell it that it is a 10 millimeter fillet. Okay, cool. And we're off to the races. By the way, that constraint preserving fillet, I think is a great command, right? And every time you get, more options when you're sketching, it's always a good thing. Okay. So yeah, now we have that. Okay. Let's go into the first sketch and say that this is also a reference. Okay, there you go. Now we have the profile we wanted. Now, we need to hide this because it's just, confusing us. And we want to show these 3 planes. And I want to say that I want to sketch on the YZ plane. Here we're at the YZ plane. And I want to create a circle. This is a new one. Anyway, this circle is going to have a diameter of 10. Oh, sorry. Let's give it a name. Outer D. Right. Now let's get, oh, how did I do that? I mean, that's pretty hard to do. View sketch. Okay. So I'll make another circle here. And now I'm going to tell it that this diameter is equal to outer D. No, we need to go into constraints dot outer D. There you go. minus 5 millimeters. Again, it's saving me from myself, right? It's telling me you have a length, and from that length you are subtracting something that doesn't have any units, right? So let's give it some units. And now you see I get diameter 5, and it's grayed out because it's letting me know, yes, your diameter is 5 millimeters, but it's driven by an equation, right? Okay. And we're good. And also, this is red. This is a defined dimension. This is orange. It's a equation-driven dimension. So let's close that. And let me say, I love the way FreeCAD handles parameters. I think it's the most open-ended parameter handling, management, whatever you want to call it, system in any CAD I have seen. We're getting a broken reference here. Okay, so here's what's going on, guys. First of all, FreeCAD does not like having a sweep. A sweep path consists out of two different sketches. But it has a neat feature to remedy that. And second of all, it really doesn't like the fact that there's an error in this sketch. Okay, and that error occurred when I turned this line I was referencing, I turned it into a construction. So if we go back into the first sketch, make this a normal line again, okay, and then we I think now I can reference that, right? Yeah, there's our reference again. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to delete that. That's and I need to delete that. So I need to make this add these constraints again, right? So, right. Then I want to add this here, and we're constrained again. So now we have no errors, right? And here's how this works, guys. So we start, right? We say that we want to use this as our profile, and it gets it. And path to sweep along, we just say add edge. So we add this edge, right? We're getting a preview this time. Then we add this edge, and then we're done, okay? So we do a second additive pipe, and that's the cool thing here. So FreeCAD doesn't need a sketch as a profile. It can get anything. So a profile, it says sketch 1. No, not that. We'll just click on this face, right? And then again, add edge. Here's our preview. We're adding edges as we go along. Okay. As soon as I hit OK, we get our desired shape. So this was a bit of a roundabout way, right? But we saw, oh, sorry for that. We saw some really nice FreeCAD operations there, namely the fact that it can reference anything, right, as a parameter. It doesn't need to be a dimension. It can be anything. FreeCAD's parameter and equation management is top-notch, right? Its topology is probably the worst out there in any CAD system ever. So it's a bit hard to use, but yeah, the parameters in FreeCAD are amazing. And you also saw that it doesn't need the sketch as a sweep profile. It's happy to take a face. So you can create the exact same shape, parametrically defined again, and yep, that's how you would do it in FreeCAD. So if you liked this video and you found it useful, please subscribe so that you can get more of more videos like that. Hit the like button. If you didn't like it, hit the dislike button. I still need to know if you didn't like it. And I hope I see you in the next one.